We are live, I see. Welcome. Hello. Do that right there. There we go. There we go. Well, hello. Good evening, everybody. I don't have a great method for alerting everybody, but here, let me try one of the ways I know. What the? Stop it. Email. Well, you guys that are here right now have the first dibs on choosing topics and fun things to do. Ce soir. Ce soir. So there's allegedly two of you. So make it happen. Vanilla. Wow. Anybody alive? Anybody here? In the meantime, I can read recipes for gravy. What do you think? I didn't actually mean that's two times that I accidentally showed this stream link. What a noob. What I didn't a noob. Total noob. Train wreck of a noob. I could just stop it, delete it, and then and start over, but look how much I care. I can't believe this. This is this is pathetic.
Nope.
What? You serious?
Checkmate.
Oh my goodness. Can't believe it. I can't even believe it. Let's do this. Let's do this. Gravy recipe best ever. Who other than Alton Brown? No surprise whatsoever. Best gravy ever. 5-star rating. 82 reviews. Alton Brown. Hey, I'll do it right now, bro. Do it right now. Um, we'll get to that Alton Brown thing. I'm doing one more. Uno mas invite. Uno mas. Interesting. Da, 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 da. Interessant. All right, we're going to take this. We're going to go forward. And hold the phone. Isn't that a funny? Hold the phone. Excuse me. Ooh. No topic suggestions. No comments whatsoever. Maybe we did get one comment. I see a comment, but I can't read it because it's being blocked by what I have on the screen right now. Hold the phone. I just got confused about some stuff. So the recipe here, let me look at these comments real quick. Good evening. 2 comments. Thank you, Unbranded Bear, for the second comment being the words 2 comments. I mean, that's incredibly helpful. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Gotcha. All right. Welcome everybody. It looks like there's like 9 people here. So let's get to the gravy. I don't want to show this on my screen because I'm always a little hesitant in regards to copyright and all that good stuff. I'm going to share it verbally. It's not my recipe. All credits go to foodnetwork.com. And Alton Brown, welcome. Thank you. Thank you, Pahoo Up. Welcome. I'm thankful for the lemons. Pahoo Up. Very nice. Apparently, you can't spam that audio sound. I find that fascinating. It can only handle so many. But it'll only go so fast. But anyway, gravy. Let's get to the gravy. One Good Eats roast turkey recipe provided on the website. 24 ounces of reduced sodium chicken broth. This is already not the best gravy recipe ever. Just saying. I am thankful. Pahook up. Thank you. Thank you for all of the lemons and ice cream. Now, what's weird is I didn't hear any ya yeet, but that's okay. Maybe it'll catch up. I guess you can spam the sound and it just plays until it's done. There you go. There was the ya yeet. So it just plays and queues up. Man, somebody could really take advantage of the stream that way. All right, so he says reduce sodium chicken broth. I'm not feeling too gravy about that suggestion, but let's see here. 24 ounces. Okay, we did that. 8 ounces of red wine, a third cup of all-purpose flour, a tablespoon of fresh herbs such as oregano, thyme, or rosemary, kosher salt, and black pepper. I would disagree with the reduced sodium chicken broth. Make your own chicken broth. Don't do some prepackaged nonsense. It's ridiculous. And if you're making turkey gravy, personally, I would recommend using all turkey. But that's just me. I mean, if we're talking about gravy, and it says for the aromatics, apple, onion, cinnamon stick, rosemary, sage. I don't know. Alton Brown, you kind of let me down on this gravy recipe today. Just gonna say, well, guys, thanks for joining this evening. This is a Friday evening, and here's what happens. We're gonna be graced by Pahook Up's. Oh, you want me to yeet? Oh, okay. Hold on. I'll take my glasses off. Yeet. Is that how you're supposed to do it? Is that how the young people talk these days? Is that is that modern behavior? Is that how it works? Um, I don't know. I'm still figuring these things out. Thank you, Reserve Moon Bear. Thank you. Thank you. That is some shekel action. If I ever did hear some shekel, if I ever did hear some shekel action, that is some shekel action. For those of you that read Hebrew, you're like, oh yeah, that definitely says Yitzrael. Actually, yeah, Yisrael. Sorry, Yisrael. Come on, it was fine. Okay, we do that, and then we do that. There we go. Yisrael, take my shekel. I can't seem to find the word shekel. Oh, there it is. Yeah, that is shekel. Here, it's on the front. It does say shekel. See if I can get this to cover my face. Because it has like facial recognition built into the cam. So here, let's do this. Go out. Come on. Autofocus. Come on, autofocus. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. This is really terrible. Oh, it worked for a second anyway. Shekel. You can't really see it, but you can kind of see it there. Shen, Kaf, or Kof, Lamed. 1 shekel. Anyway, that's what you guys were. Put your hand behind the coin, bro. Am I being a noob? I'm being a total noob. Ugh. Yeah, not really. But I have the like the $35 Logitech cam. I don't have one of those fancy Brios that are like $120. Ain't about that life. It will focus up close. It's just you have to like. I wish there was a manual. There probably is a manual focus, but it does say shekel, and I've got 3 of them. My grappler side is starting to fire up. Excellent. So so I have sent out some invitations, but we can get this party started right now, right here, right now. We don't need Let me stop the product placement advertising. I really love I really love how I can read that and know exactly what you're saying. it's it's perfect. Uh, well, thank you, Pahuk. All right. Well, on the topic, I'm a boomer. I wouldn't know. Are you really, Pahuk? Up? Are you really? Oh, well, I mean, you can leave. That's it's fine. It's all good. Thanks for joining us. Um, I didn't know boomers said bro. Oh, Gen X. Well, that works. Gen X is perfectly fine. The shekel sound will attract the grabbler. I bet it will. I bet it will. All right, I'm going to close out of this. Actually, I probably need to leave that up for the purposes of the treasure chest. Um, we definitely need to talk about better gravy. So I'll stay a while, but please ask me to leave and not mute if you don't mind. I'm not sure I understand that sentence. Thanks, reserve name. Glad we're just getting started. That's encouraging, and I agree. I agree. It's going to be a good one. We're going to examine some gravy this evening. It's either going to be all by myself. I did invite like 10 people, but it was via an email, in which case, what are you gonna do? I mean, people get emails at all different times. It's not exactly an efficient way of alarming the masses. If you guys pray really hard, Coddington will get on. That has never happened, so there's literally no reason to think that it would or could. But I did invite, why didn't they laugh at Gmail? If I'm irritated, please ask me to leave. Don't ban me. Oh, yeah, that's fine. That sounds fine. That's a fair request. Thank you for clarifying what you meant by that. Sounds good. You know, I would too. I don't know if he would. I'm kind of. I was told today in a Discord that I was confrontational, and it was kind of a little bit of a hippie like Discord channel, and I was told that I was a little bit confrontational. And by hippie, I mean like let's just all get along. You know, it's about the heart. It's not about the words, which I don't disagree with. It depends though. I really like the I really like the definition of words. In fact, that could definitely be some gravy that we go over right now. Am I at liberty to describe it? Sure, I am. Snowdrift vanilla porter. Yeah. Uh, yeah. So the famous gun. I disagree. He's just not that kind of guy. He's not. As far as I understand it, Coddington is absolutely not the limelight kind of guy. But Coddington has been a pal. He's been a pal several times, and he has shouted out my stream on Twitter several times, and thankful for that. That's very kind. Um, Precious, even. That sounds special. um, I am thankful. I think it's really cool, but um, yeah, I don't know any other words for it. Anyway, um, let's go over to. I was going to do Definitions of words potentially, but there was something else before that. Let's see here. I I get, yeah. Well, I can't relate, but I endorse and will encourage that. Um, this is the first. Uh, it's been a while for me. I think that a key. We'll talk. Oh yeah, now I remember. Now I remember. Now and it'll actually join all together. This will be good. This will be a good stream. Potentially depends on your perspective. But wow, why did I blank on this topic? Oh yeah. So here it is. If you say the words, and I've shared this before, so it'll be redundant for maybe one or two of you. But if you say the words, there's nothing better than cracking open a couple of cold ones. You you this is like the you might be a redneck. I'm gonna go through the you might be a redneck version of you might have a problem. Okay, there's nothing better than than, than crapping a couple of cold ones. That's terrible. I've had like 3 sips. There's nothing better than cracking up in. Why am I having such difficulty with this sentence? It's because I never say it. I don't have any muscle memory in my tongue. There's nothing better than cracking open a few cold ones with the boys. It doesn't even flow. You might have a problem if you say, "There's nothing I love more than sitting down, popping the TV on." Just finish the sentence there. You might have a problem. But if you also add and sipping on a brew or sipping on a fermented beverage or whatever, or a distilled beverage, right? There's nothing I love more than just taking a big fat gulp of triple distilled liquor. um, you might you might have a problem. It's not a laughing matter. I'm only laughing at how things can be right here in people's like right here, and people are like, "Oh, there's nothing wrong with this. I can see everything's fine. I see you, you see me. I can see that. I can see that. I'm good. Everything's fine. I have no problem in my life. Nothing at all. This is never going to cause a problem. I am perfectly fine." Like, what? Ow. What did you do that for? Oh, I did that. Dang it. Um so it does have to do with your allegiance. It has to do with uh your idols. And yeah, that's kind of where that goes. There's been like three comments in my diatribe. Interesting. What's TV? Boomer tech? Basically. Oh yeah, and there's I forget about there being a delay. Sometimes I just don't remember. Hey, Fundamental Bear, welcome. Um, definitely an idolatry if you consume it like air. Yeah. So it, that demonstration wasn't actually meant to be the plank in the eye. Uh, that's a whole different metaphor. It was meant to be how sometimes people have issues that are right in front of their face. Everybody else sees them, but they don't, which is like the plank in the eye, but alcoholics aren't always the ones to, and not just alcoholics as this, oh, but more so anybody that has a problem with alcohol or addiction in general. Um, they're not always the ones to point fingers at other people. They're not highly judgy, in my experience, um, because if they did that, it would draw too much attention to their own issues. So they tend not to be very judgy people, um, in my experience now. Um, so definitely kept me strong. I don't know what HO. Oh, clarification there. Um, very good on Brandon Bear. Very good. Um, yeah. So Pahu up, which I need to pronounce as Fu uh, Cup. Apparently, that brings up an interesting topic. We are going to bring 1828 into the picture here. Mr. 1828 himself, the legendary Noah Webster. Hey, today's word of the day with Noah Webster is, I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Pur. You know, if it was the water company, I would say pure, but I kind of want to say pur. I don't know. To utter a low, murmuring, continued sound as a cat. This is my look of shame. See, if I had read the definition first, I would have had no confusion about how to pronounce the word. First occurrence in the Bible, Esther. So, what? Esther, chapter 3, verse 7. In the first month, that is the month of Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus, they cast Pur, that is the lot, so it's a Hebrew word, before Haman from day to day and month to month to the 12th month, that is the month Adar. So Pur shows up in the Bible, and Webster 1828 is so awesome that it will share the Bible verse that a word appears in. Because Noah Webster was probably a Christian. He has some pretty epic quotes. So that being said, let's look up some of these words that I have taken issue with. Oh, that's not in there. So that word didn't exist in 1828. That's fascinating. The one that starts with an S and ends with a hit. Um, it's not in the 1828 dictionary. So we'll just move on. It's not even hardly relevant. Let's do this one. Hey, that one's not in there. The one that they call the fornication word that starts with the letter PH, PHOUCKE. That word is apparently also not in the Webster's Dictionary, 1828. Let's look up another one. Hey, how weird. That word that they call horrifyingly disgraceful and disgusting females, that starts with the letter C, that wasn't a word in 1828. Isn't that interesting that I'm just playing you a song because you're a new follower. You're welcome. That one's for you, dedicated to you. Um, so yeah, that word that that is a shortened slang for a woman of ill repute. I would say that's how I would say that. Now you may just shorten it to 4 letters and just get it out there as fast as possible. I like to take my time with things. I like to build up. I like to extrapolate and expound when I'm communicating with people. I like to build a picture for them to see in their face, because that's where you see things is in your face, like we were describing before. Um, but for all intents and purposes, I do like to paint a picture. So I had a fun conversation with my wife about this topic the other day, and I'm always seeking understanding, and I can be a little dogmatic at times. I can be a little overzealous at times. I can be a little too intense at times. Hopped up on nothing except the Holy Spirit. That's not a joke. It's not to be joked about. Sounds like you're joking. I'm not joking. I am excited about life because of God. But yeah, it's not funny. We're gonna move on so I don't further bury myself in awkwardness. So I was having a great conversation about language and the use thereof, specifically slang and cursing, and there's another good word, crass language, right? And I explained to her when somebody, hey, Larry King, welcome and hello. When somebody, let me fully see. Thank you about the angle of shame. That's what we could call it, the angle of shame. It's pretty funny actually. Just double checking. CNDT doesn't mean that to me. Okay. Um, keep it up. Gotta put kid to bed. Okay. Good stuff, unbranded bear. Here's what I was explaining. I have this thing with words that when someone says a word, I see a picture. And I told my wife all about this. And I'll tell you as well, but I'm going to get to the punchline before I tell my story so that you have something to contextualize with. So the problem with words for me, bruh, is I see pictures when people say words. She said, have you ever told anybody that in your streams? And it was like, I've muted people, I've deleted their comments, I've even banned some people before. But no, I haven't. I haven't expressly communicated that the way that I think is on an is on an autist scale. Now I'm not talking about a starving autist, the ones that paint pictures. I'm talking about the autists that are on the spectrum. You say house, I see walls and a roof. Okay. If you say car, I see wheels, a hood, and a windshield, and then other parts, sometimes headlights, sometimes tail lights, blinker, side view mirror. These are the images that flash through my head at neck breaking speeds. Neck breaking speeds. Just, just boom. Okay. Why, hello, Larry. Welcome.
Hey, buddy.
I'm discussing, and you might have probably already heard, the topic of uh, foul language, cursing, cussing, crass, slang, so on and so on, and why my brain works the way that it does. But we can take a pause from that because I would like to hear, how's your son?
I'm gonna get some headphones. I can barely hear you.
Oh, okay. Do I hear your son?
What's that?
Can I hear your son? Is that what I hear in the background?
Yeah, that might be, but I can barely hear you. Like it's way muffled.
Gotcha. Let me see.
All right. How do you hear me now?
Oh, I hear you just fine. I'm looking at
Okay.
my microphone is the webcam. Um, so should
Yeah. No, I hear your stream just fine, but it was just whenever I went to Hangouts that it just killed.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, anyway, I was talking about crass language, cuss, curse, slang, all of that stuff,
Sure.
and how my brain operates. But then I wanted to ask you specifically, how's your son doing?
He's doing really good. Yeah, he's growing really strong.
Awesome.
He's
Eating
he's a
good?
little fussy lately, but he's good.
Eating good?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Awesome. Eating
Yeah.
and pooping, it's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's his two win spots.
Awesome. Yeah, fussiness, man, that you already know. This is your
Oh yeah.
number 2 or number 3?
Number 3.
Number
Yeah.
3. Yeah. Okay. Good stuff. Well, I think you have participated in this conversation at least once before, briefly. The conversation about language, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I'm going to finish my discussion or description of how my brain operates, and then well, I pretty much have already shared. The main point is when people say words, I see pictures. So I find it a disturbing process to communicate with certain people based on the language that they use. Have I trained myself to handle that without uh, losing my mind? Yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I literally grew up every day of my life hearing foul language.
Yep.
Every single day, I would hear more than one type of four-letter word,
Sure.
and I used them from 1996 to 1998. No, to 1999, and then the last day of eighth grade, I made a decision to myself that I would no longer act that way because I knew that I was just trying to fit in, and I wanted to do something different than the
Yeah.
mainstream, and that was just a decision that I made, and it helped in regards to the way that my brain worked and where I wanted my brain to be thought wise.
Hmm.
So it has gotten me in trouble with a couple of different people in muting their comments or deleting their comments, and I've offended some people,
Yeah.
and that's frustrating for me because it's actually not something that I want to be dogmatic about. On one hand,
Sure.
um, it's a weird topic for me because I want to have just as much grace as has been shown to me, um, and my heart is there.
Yeah.
I think my heart is for just being like, I don't care what you say. I do still love you. But then my
Yeah.
brain is like,
Yeah.
oh. So
Yeah.
it's a conflict for me. And I know that was probably an extreme facial reaction, but it is a little bit of a mental tug of war between my heart and mind in those situations.
Yeah.
Um, so anyway, that was kind of what was on my mind. I invited a bunch of people tonight, and I was hoping to get some good topics. I tried to read a gravy recipe from Alton Brown. I was disappointed. Um, so let's see. I'm trying to read the comments right now. Isn't in it? How about? Oh no. So I was trying to look up some of these words that are cuss words in today's word. So the shit is not in the 1828 Webster's. Neither is phoucke. I'm just being funny, buddy. Um, I know how to spell cat. I know it has two T's. I stole that from Brian Regan for you
Yeah.
guys, just so you know. That's not my joke. Let's see. How about? All right. So we've got the female kind. Wow, female. The female of the canine kind, as of the dog, wolf, and fox. And then the secondary here, I'll bring it over to the screen for everybody to see.
Yeah, he's fine.
A name of reproach for a woman. So that actually is in the definition for the quote unquote B word. In 1828, it was used. It was used at that time. Um, we obviously know about illegitimate children and that word, and that's an old word. It's been around for a while. Um,
How about fig, as Crowder calls it? The socialism is for figs shirt.
okay, yeah, that's a good one actually. Fagot.
Sure.
Fagot. A bundle of sticks, twigs, or small branches of trees. This is 1828, guys.
Yeah.
We'll look at the fagot definition. I'll pull it over here. Um, let's see here. Latin fascis, a bundle. A person hired to appear at musters in a company not full and hide the deficiency. Oh my gosh. What are those people called nowadays when they're just paid to be there, but they're not actually supporters? They're extras. A hired extra is also a fagot.
Sounds correct.
And then, interestingly enough, in the definition in 1828, it says to tie together, to bind in a bundle, to collect promiscuously.
How do you collect sticks promiscuously?
With what do you wear? Do you wear a tutu?
Maybe it's, what do you say, fancy pantses and lollipops?
That is a fancy pants and lollipop situation. That is very interesting. I'm gonna do the shortened word. So this is the word fag. I'm pronouncing it like a super northwesterner. You know how they say beg instead of bag, they say bag. Grab the bag. Anyway, to to beat a slave, one who works hard. To fail or to languish. Interesting. To become weary, to fail in strength, to be faint in weariness. Um, a knot in cloth. Interesting. Obviously, completely antiquated word. In 1828, that word was dead. Based on that, it also says it was a vulgar word. The Italian began to. It was a vulgar word even in 1828, but for different reasons. Hi, Preacher Bear. I did invite you, Preacher Bear. Collecting with half a breast showing. Yeah, you're collecting the wood, but you're showing a little. Yeah, that's wow. That's ridiculous. Um, yeah, let's see. Not that one. Um, yeah, even a lot of slang is new. That's what I'm seeing here. Um, like a lot of slang is within the last 170, 180. I mean, 1828 is 192 years ago. So anyway, feel free to join though, Preacher Bear. It'd be fine. Um, Biblical Joseph, what's up? Just do your best not to offend the kids and the big G. Yeah, um, obviously I have that word. He wrote something that got censored out. I have a list of words that I've put in my trigger. Interesting. So I'm going to share the definition. I'm not going to tell you what the word is. I'm going to just tell you the definition. Uh, properly inflated, swelled, hence fat, short, and thick. And as persons of this make labor in respiration, the word is used for short breathed. So you look at certain words, this being the one for a feline, and it wasn't used for a feline in 1828. It was only used to describe somebody that was short breathed. Like somebody that, I guess, everything labored them when they, like somebody like that.
Let me ask you this: do you think that words from Scripture in different translations have been distorted in a similar fashion to the words you're talking about?
Some of them have. Let me give you an example. Lord.
Sure.
So in my opinion, and I think it's not too difficult to demonstrate, the word Lord has been watered down for centuries. When kings were called lords, when landlords were called lords. Thank you, Viral Koenig. So the use of the word Lord and attributing that title to many other types of people, I think that it wasn't somebody could argue that it was an intentional subversive plan to diminish, but the fact of the matter is they used the word Lord from their own context as the quote unquote highest position that they could think of as a means to describe God, which is, in my opinion, not the right way to go. If I had have been translating the Bible, I would have retained his name as the title because there is no name greater than his name. And by definition, you can't come up with an analogy for who God is in the physical realm. So I think that Lord would be the best example of a bad a bad translation. So
That's
preacher, go
good.
ahead.
Yeah, I like that. I like that summary.
Preacher Bear said the word bow. It was an issue with King James and the Masoretic text. Um, I'm not familiar with the significance of that because I think of bowing as prostrate, getting down on your knees. But maybe a verse reference would be helpful there. Look up a velvet purse. I think he's agreeing with the word Lord because he just said the word Lord. Velvet purse. Is this a troll? You wouldn't troll me, Preacher Bear. I trust you. Velvet purse. Hmm. It looks like velvet purses are being sold on Etsy and Amazon, and that's about it. I don't know what the velvet purse thing was, Preacher Bear. I don't think you trolled me, but oh, They apparently make cremation holders out of velvet that are called velvet purses. I don't think that that's what you were talking about, though. He said he was trolling a little bit. That's fine. I still trust you, and I still will trust you because I know you.
Devin, you might find that one in the Urban Dictionary.
Oh, is that where I need to go?
Right.
Oh, you're already familiar with this?
Vaguely.
I'm so out of the loop, dude. I don't participate in much of the trendy social media things, so I really am out of the loop on a lot of this stuff. Interesting. The word of the day on Urban Dictionary is dense cabbage, which it says person one, this dude is totally not spamming. And then the person two, you dense cabbage. Used as an insult to idiots or people who stand up for a specific idiot.
That's useful.
It is, but how does this even happen? Dense cabbage. I'm like, yeah, that sounds like a great thing. Dense cabbage. I mean, you don't want like fluffy, stupid cabbage that like you only get 50%. You want it to be dense so you have more food. I'm like, I'm so old when it comes to these matters. All right, let me look up his slang. Figure this out. Oh, well, thank you, thank you, Preacher Bear. I see the skin flute. Wow. Let me put the skin flute. It says. I tell you what.
You got trolled.
I tell you what. Um, good grief. All right, Iron Argon share. I'll have a good laugh about it. I appreciate it. All right, but all meant Lord God in Iron Argon said that. Um, okay. Uh, Creative Bear said maybe it refers to coffins that hold spacesuits. So I was pointing out that Owen was sharing a Smithsonian clip today talking about how they had to do all this special stuff to protect the space suits and how they were already falling apart. Okay, from the 1960s. I've got sweaters from my grandfather from the 1950s that were shipped to me in a plastic bag in a box that he wore countless times. We've got a quilt that's like 80 years old. And or maybe 90 years old. And the point is 50, 60 years and the spacesuit is just so fragile. It needs
Yeah.
transported on a gurney.
Yeah, but you know that all of NASA's stuff is very well built and durable. So it would stand to reason that it's the opposite.
It would stand. That's logical. That is logical. I forgot. Where was
You know,
my mind?
the run of the mill men's sweater from 1950 was just made to be used, so it will last forever.
Exactly. That makes sense. That dog will hunt. Um, pet the velvet. Wow. LOL, I'm sure that's okay to say. Seems bad, so it must be good. Wow. Way to go, Biblical Joseph, with that logic. An old Irish one was to warn your child you would smack their backside with a wet garbage. That's I've never heard of the word garbage used in that grammatical function, but hey, I like the Irish and the Scottish, so hello, Moonlight, welcome. Um, Baal was a pagan god. The word Lord refers to any authority over you. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought. Yeah. Oh, cabbage. Yeah, that makes way more sense. Wet cabbage. Yeah. Wet cabbage. I think that Preacher Bear might dictate some of his stuff too. Um, yeah. I'm getting too old to learn another language. Oh man, I can't even understand. Yeah, I know Biblical Joseph. It's keeping up with the slang is very, very, very difficult. So,
Well, hey, Devin, I just wanted to jump on here and say hey to you live. I got to get off here. My phone's got about 10% left.
all right, man. Have a good night.
So,
Get as much sleep
uh,
as you can. Um,
yeah, well, it doesn't really matter about the sleep anymore. They officially laid me off today.
yeah, but
So
are you going to have that interview?
I did this morning. It went well.
Okay,
So hopefully we're on the right track.
good, good.
They said maybe next week I would hear back.
Okay. Well, I highly
So
recommend the value of providing neck and back massages for the spouse.
sure,
So
it goes a long way.
it does. So so anyway, have a good night, man, and we will be
All right,
praying
bud.
for the job situation. Okay.
Thanks, man. Y'all have a good night. We'll see you.
All right, man. Bye for now.
Bye.
All right, Nathaniel. Now is your chance. I'm just kidding. I'm coming in and I got some weird stuff to. Hey, dude, come on in. I sent you an email with the link, so join up. I'm happy to. The the night is young, as they say. 5 minutes, he says. I've got to. I've got to simmer the gravy for 5 minutes. So very seriously though, please do pray for Larry King, the guy that was just on here. I don't. Whatever. Creative Bear. First of all, let me put it this way: I'm not an idiot. Second of all, I appreciate serving my wife. You know, at my wedding ceremony, I did a foot washing instead of stomping on glass to break it. Excuse me, jumping over a broom, uh, all those other weird things. We did a foot washing. I know you're joking, but I figured I'd take it extra serious and like just get way too serious about it because that's how I roll. Um, well, that wasn't 5 minutes, but what's up?
Hey, what's up, man?
You got to cut the cigar. You thought that was going to take you 5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, no, actually, I didn't end up. I've been sick.
Good night, Preacher Bear. I didn't mean to cut you off, but
I'm just getting over it. In fact, I was pretty disappointed because can you hear me?
yeah, I can hear you great.
Okay. I was gifted a pipe recently to help with my cigar butts
Okay.
problem
Yeah, yeah.
because
Okay.
I saved the ash for the garden because it's really good. It's got potassium in it. It's called pot ash.
Yeah.
That's why, yeah. Anyways, so but I realized I hadn't smoked in the pipe because I was sick, and I realized I probably shouldn't smoke a cigar because I'm just getting over it. So my wife assured me the old Russian trick is drinking vodka when you're sick. So that's what I'm planning on doing.
It is a thing. It is
Yeah.
absolutely a thing. And I think that they have that thing for every culture.
Oh, yeah.
Which one is it, if you don't mind me asking?
Which what?
Which vodka?
Oh, it's absolute. We actually had a
Oh,
hard time choosing which kind. I wanted to do like one of the ones that like you
Stolik
look at it and it says
Stolichnaya.
right. I wanted to do like one of the ones that looked like an old Russian family, like Stocklin or
Stolik
whatever.
Stolichnaya.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, no, seriously, I have had Stolichnaya. I've actually never had I've never had Absolute, but I have had in regards to vodka, I've had Stolichnaya and maybe one other one. Once I had it, I was like, oh yeah, not not very exciting. I I think Scotch is the best.
Scotch is the best. Scotch is hand down the best.
But yeah, I think every culture turns to a wee bit as the Irish might say, a wee bit.
A wee bit of whiskey.
But yeah, I mean, so I grew up hearing stories of 80 and 90-year-olds saying that um, they would dip rag in kerosene and then bourbon and then sugar and let even a baby suck on it, and it was called and put your hands over your ears, everybody that has sensitive ears. You're about to hear the craziest thing come out of my mouth, but I'm literally quoting historic information, so it's not profane. They called it a sugar tit.
Sugar tit.
I was always, as a young person, I was always like, what? Kerosene?
Yeah,
What?
kerosene.
Why?
Kerosene's the only one that sounds crazy to me. Bourbon, I get, but
It was extremely strange to me. And yes, when I quote somebody, I will quote cuss words if it's necessary to communicate regarding
there's something
um
about that, man. Like
what's
they've
that?
got they've got ways of doing things that are just like,
Do they used to use things in home remedies like
yeah.
camphor oil and like just weird like a cod liver oil, like people had things
Well,
that they
isn't
were. Go ahead.
what is kerosene? Like, isn't it? Doesn't it come from like I don't know shit.
So
Does
quote
it come from
unquote.
like whale blubber?
So
Something like
I
that.
don't. I
Is it
personally, I
whale
actually don't
oil?
know where kerosene comes from, but rumor has it that jet fuel is actually just kerosene.
Oh, really?
Rumor has it. Yeah, it's very fascinating. The
Well,
whole.
I'm pretty sure kerosene is just a different way of because our
I'll look
buddy
it up.
Joey,
I'm looking it
uh,
up right now.
he knows a lot about oil, and we were talking about it when I visited. Uh,
Paraffin, lamp oil, coal oil, uh,
yeah,
obsolete term, derived from petroleum. Um,
yeah,
and
it's just a different distillation of oil, but you can get it from different places. Like they used to make kerosene out of whale oil. I'm pretty sure,
maybe
like out of
so.
hunting whales and shit.
Yeah, because they used to do lamp oil. I thought was from whales, and that was a big problem. So
But
it's
it's
called.
just different ways of distilling it, like alcohol.
Oh,
It's
check
just
this out. Liquid paraffin, called mineral oil in the U.S., is a more viscous and highly refined product, and it's used as a laxative.
oh, I believe it. Yeah.
Ugh, how
Well,
weird.
I use coffee as a laxative.
No, and here it says right here, kerosene is widely used to power jet engines of aircraft. I'm just reading from Wikipedia. Um,
You want to hear
so
what I've been up to?
there you go. What's up?
So, my wife's been going through some health stuff or whatever. So I've been like really into conspiracies lately.
Okay, yeah.
And God, I really want more vodka. It's so weird as a whiskey drinker to not have something to sip on constantly, but you just shoot the whole thing at once.
I hear you.
Um, so but these pants don't fit, so I can't stand up. Uh,
Okay,
we're doing laundry right now. Otherwise, I'd get more vodka. But
it's fine.
what in the heck was I talking about? Oh,
You
so I've been looking into these
conspiracy?
conspiracy
Yeah,
things.
yeah.
Well, we've been like really focusing on our marriage and just being happy. It's been kind of stressful with the whole house situation,
Yeah, yeah,
and
for sure.
especially like with the like everybody in the whole world like attacking us at one point or the other is pretty crazy. But it's so funny too because they attack us hardcore. But
Yeah.
like the most stressful thing, like that brings us closer together. The most stressful thing is going to the grocery store. I have found. Anyway,
Well, when you have a limited budget, going shopping for groceries can be very stressful
oh, it's
if you.
not the budget. It's not the budget at all. It's just like I'm like, okay, let's get in, get out, get the job done before our enemies know we're here. And she's like,
Aren't you kind of in? I mean, you're for all intents and purposes, you're nowhere near anybody.
"Oh
Uh,
no.
Yeah,
I'm just saying like that's the way I think."
I hear you.
And she's like, "Well, let's compare and make sure we get the cheapest and best possible thing."
That's
So
good.
I'm like, "There's." She's like, "What type of icing do you want?" we went in to get 3 things for like a baking thing she wanted to do, and it was like, let's just get in and out. And then like I remember I about lost my shit because we were standing in front of the icing, and I was like, it was like we had that like sense of urgency, and then we got to the icing, and then it all just died, and it was just like standing there like, huh, look at all this great icing, It's like she turns to me like, what type of icing do you want? I said, this kind. All right, I didn't say that. I was like, anyways, we got into a fight.
So check this out: butter, powdered sugar, and either cocoa and vanilla or just vanilla. Like
Uh,
you can make your own. Like just make your own, bro. Don't buy that crazy stuff in the packages.
no, the whole point of that was about marriage counseling.
Yeah, I hear you. No,
The icing
it can
was
be
just
really. I know it can be really silly things like
Do you
that.
really
I
think I make icing?
you
I don't
could
bake.
you
I'm the
could.
man. I'm the man's man.
Have you ever used a mixer?
I think when I was a kid.
It's it's muscle building, and it'll wear your arm out for a little
I've
while.
held a mixer because my sister or my wife was too weak to hold it, so they needed help
Bro.
as they were getting deeper into the
Personally,
recipe.
I love baking. Why did that get blocked from Twitch and D Live?
I
I'm
like cooking vittles.
Vittles. That's a major Southern slang right there.
Yeah, I gotta put it into my book somewhere. Uh, it's a great cowboy term I just remembered. So, anyways, let me tell you what I've been looking into. So the conspiracy thing. I've been for some reason digging. Anyway, so we were focusing on marriage, and we decided to watch this old musical called "Singing in the Rain."
Yeah, I love that movie.
Yeah, total. It's all about sodomy. It turns out.
Okay, thanks. I'm just playing. How how
No,
how is it all about sodomy? Because there is a male female love story component.
I didn't say it was male sodomy, although it is.
Okay.
What's going on? People are talking about me. Oh, you're talking about me.
No, I was because somebody asked a question and I wanted to answer it for them
Oh, really?
succinctly.
Oh, you did a good job too. There you go. Yeah, you can watch my videos.
You know
I
how I
told you.
am. I communicate as efficiently as possible. Well,
That's not
in
how I've
writing, in
seen you.
writing,
Yeah, in writing.
in writing, not
Person, you
verbally.
don't.
What's that?
You do not do that in person.
No, no.
No,
In
you're
verbally,
very. I got a buddy like you, Charlie. That's the same way.
yeah.
Um. So this movie. So we were watching this movie, and there's this part in this movie where he's talking about doing a Broadway play.
Oh.
And it stood out to me because it was so unnecessary for the plot, like even more than all the other musical numbers. And you can tell, like part of me, my wife, I was looking into this, and then I couldn't help but say, "Hey, honey, I'm just looking into sex magic. Don't worry about it." And then, of course, she's like, "Well, what's sex? What are you talking about?" And
Aleister Crowley,
and I'm like, "No, you don't want to know." But I kind of did it in a way that she had to ask me, so I
of
told
course.
her.
Yeah, yeah. Aleister
And she
Crowley primarily, right? Wasn't he basically the author?
Of what? What are you talking about? Are you talking to
Wasn't
someone else? I thought I
wasn't
was your only friend.
wasn't wasn't Aleister Crowley the primary creator and or author of sex magic?
Was that a book?
Y- yeah,
Of the
that
idea of sex magic? No, it's ancient. It's like as old as Cain and Abel.
I think he wrote a book about it.
Yeah, he wrote a book about it. But he was more into blood drinking and cannibalism,
Yeah, he
I
was
think.
obviously a psychopath.
But there was this old magician that came up in my studies. He was like he was like the head magician for Queen Elizabeth. His name was John Dee. Came up with this thing called Mona Hieroglyphica, which is just a picture of two gods sodomizing, and it's a really weird glyph. But anyway, so we were watching this movie, and she was like, "You're kind of overthinking it. Like that's just a 10-second scene, right?" But I was thinking about it, and I was like, "Yeah, but it's choreographed to a T. Like the dancing is
Excuse me.
perfect."
Hmm.
Can you imagine how much time and effort they put into adding every little detail to the dance there? He
Hold
didn't.
on, hold on, just a second. This isn't your implication element, right? How they danced, because I've
No,
watched almost all of Fred Astaire's movies since being married to a woman that loves Fred Astaire movies,
I don't
um,
know.
and Bing Crosby and stuff. And I like the movies. I think that they're good. I prefer Humphrey Bogart to a Fred Astaire movie, but there
Well,
men actually cared about performance
no, it's
back
not that
then.
they danced that they
Okay,
were sodomites.
okay, good.
No, no. My point is that there are little scenes in the movie during the dances that are clear symbols of sodomy, and
Okay,
like really clear.
how so?
Well, I can show you pictures. I don't know how to like bring them up on the
No,
screen.
let's not. I don't
It's
need.
not. It's not terrible. I mean, it's kind of bad if you use your imagination, but they're scenes from the movie.
Okay. So the way that
Um,
they danced appeared to be like certain forms and positions that looked
no, no, it's
implicating.
worse than that. No. Here, let me just tell you the story the way I see it. What's up, guys?
Hi, there's a lot
What-
of people here more than it's you. Thanks, Nate. You helped my channel out.
I just
There's
popped in here. I didn't tell anybody I'd be
I
here.
know I'm only partially teasing because when there's more than just one of me, you're not more than oh, wow.
I have a very different style
When
than
I have people on here
well,
talking, it
part of it
helps.
part of it is that Owen and Box aren't streaming tonight. Although I think Owen did end up streaming against his word, but people haven't been streaming lately. It's Friday night, you know. But it's like no, they don't have anything to watch, so I appreciate them being here. You know what I mean? But they're just
There's
being
nowhere better to be.
I mean, kind of.
But that
I
could
mean,
be true positively, not
I
necessarily
think I still
negatively.
have a smaller audience than you, so like, take it for what it's worth. Uh,
Well, D Live has been helpful with that.
oh yeah, D Live is the shit. Like people, it's like people actually do like float around there. It's a lot more legit. Um, like even I was on there and I clicked into something that was on the front screen because I was like, "What's this? I've never seen this game." And I followed somebody I didn't know, and then, anyways,
It's interesting. But go ahead. You were talking about the different positions of their dancing, but it was explicit. It's not even
oh, it's very explicit.
esoteric. It's
So
not esoteric.
so there's a 10-second scene in the movie. So the thing that cued me off. Okay, here's the thing that cued me off during the whole movie. At first, I was like, this is just like kind of a like getting weirder and weirder, this movie. But I thought it was funny. It openly mocked Hollywood, which I appreciated. And then I don't know what you're doing. It's distracting.
There, somebody just followed, and it plays this extremely loud bass music.
Oh
So I was
really?
just dancing to the music. It was stranded 360.
Was it playing it over what I was saying?
It was. So me dancing is a good cue for you to not think that your words are being heard.
Okay. Well, I'm
So
glad I stopped for you to
yeah, man,
dance.
you go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
Vox
also
already.
laughing at what your
How
wife
come
said.
I don't get notifications for Vox anymore? Gosh dang it. So anyways, the heck was I talking about?
Your wife's hilarious, man.
Is she in there?
Yeah, she said, haha, they do have similar features, except GB Gospel Bearer streams from Blanket Fort, so that gives him away. That is that is
So they
hilarious.
added a new thing to this stupid notification bell. Not only do you have to click the notification bell, when you click it, it has this
Always.
option called personalized. Yeah. It's like
Oh,
oh, I've personalized it to not tell me about any of them. Fucking idiot.
I want to be alerted, but not actually alerted.
Not
Okay,
for
we've got
any of
another
them I
follower.
like. Just for
Uh,
the ones that seem to have to deal with sodomy. You know,
Thank you,
you seem
Stranded
so good.
360 and Truthfulness for the
This is what
follows.
happens when you put a tranny woman in charge of your company. So, tranny man, I don't know how that works. It's really a man. Uh, fucking Susan, I'm a guy ski or whatever. Uh, so what was I talking about? Oh, so there's this really distinct scene in the movie where he goes to Broadway. It's like a story about a guy going to Broadway and making it big. And then he gets an agent, and then the agent like books him. I gotta dance, and then takes him down the hall and puts him into through this door, and he gets his first big act. Well, it's really weird because the door has a big red eye on it. And that's one thing where I'm like, okay, it's just one little eye.
Okay.
And so I overlook it. But then the next scene, he goes through this door, and then on the other side, they have this weird, like, seductive dance with this woman who looks like Cleopatra, who's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
the
yeah.
girlfriend of a Don, and has no, and they're like flipping coins. It has no, like, it's so out of place. It's so weird. And the door, if you'll notice, with the big red eye, is in the scene. Like it goes out of the scene sometimes, but this camera always comes back to the door. It's like stuck in the scene, and so that queued me up for the movie. Like after that, the whole rest of the movie I was just enjoying. But once I got to that, I was like, that's interesting. So Ani went to bed, and I was like, okay, occultism in Singing in the Rain, and then it brought up all these articles,
Uh-huh.
and I found out a whole lot of stuff, and
Okay.
the main articles I was reading, it was about the title scene where they sing the song "Singing in the Rain." And uh, do you want me to get like really explicit to explain what I'm talking about? Like it's going to be a little gross, but it's from the movie.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, so this got me looking into Saturnalia and
Okay.
the worship of Apollo and the worship of Apollo or Horus, and the worship or Nimrod, I guess. I don't know. This one-eyed guy, the Eye of Horus,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm familiar.
and Hermes, Mercury, the other one, and Saturn is also Horus,
I
and
forget who
Horus is the Egyptian name, Apollo is the Greek name,
yes.
and
Yeah.
Saturn is the Roman name for the same god, and roughly, but you can see the similarities in the story. So anyway, so I got looking into this, and for instance, there's this one part during the title scene of Singing in the Rain, where he's singing in the rain in front of a pharmacy, and the pharmacy has a picture of a woman, a very provocative woman in short shorts,
Okay.
and she's like looks like she's in sexual ecstasy. That's how she looks,
Okay.
and she's holding a cigarette like it's a wand
Okay.
on around her. Now this is like a 20-second scene, but you have to understand, no, that set didn't get there. Like they built that set specifically and they choreographed the music. It probably took hours to film this, so it's very intentional. This
Real
20
quick, I,
second scene, I'd love for people to see it if you want to pull it up.
I want to share the fact that this was 1952.
Yep,
This
1952.
was Stanley Donen and Gene Kelly that
Gene Kelly.
that were the directors, and then
The article that I read said Gene Kelly was the big magician that was trying to
yeah,
push this stuff.
and primary actors and actresses was Gene Kelly, Donald O'Connor, and Debbie Reynolds, which they did other movies. Gene Kelly obviously was in a whole lot of films,
Yeah, Gene
uh,
Kelly, big guy.
but not as
His name means genetic war. Kelly means war.
genetic war. Kind of like, could that possibly mean genocide?
No, the article I was reading used gene to symbolize genetic material, as
Okay,
in sexual fluid, as
sure,
in
sure.
semen.
How interesting.
I don't know.
Um,
It's just one of those things that they threw in there.
I'm
That
not
was,
necessarily
well,
interested
I mean,
in looking
people
up
that
any specific images, but go ahead and continue to describe it. It's perfectly fine.
Is there any way, I'm not in charge of your stream, is there any way to put up an image of what I'm talking about? Like if I send it to you so people can see a visual
Is it
representation?
this openscroll.blogspot that I'm seeing?
Yeah, did that pop up? It's like the
Yeah,
first thing. It's almost weird that it's so easy to get access to. Like my
yeah,
paranoia goes
yeah.
off,
I'll
but
show it on stream if I can find what you're talking about. I see the
all right.
one where he's dancing and he sees the suggestive woman.
Yep,
Um, it's a
yep.
cartoonish woman, but yeah,
Cartoonish, yeah. But so the scene is I'm running your thing so I can find out if you get the image up there, it will help me because then I can
yeah.
use it to guide what I'm saying. But
It's gonna block your face inevitably, just so you know.
the what?
It's gonna block your face, just so you know.
Oh, that's fine. Who wants to see my face anyways? I haven't shaved in months.
I got you. Go ahead.
You got to zoom in though. It's too far out.
All right. Well, bring up a new
There's
But-
if you scroll down in the same article, I think there's a freeze frame, not the video. Or you could just play the video, but skip
I don't want to
ahead.
play the video. I'm just gonna scroll to this spot, which is
Yeah,
probably
Let me see if I can find it.
right about there.
Oh, is Stranded 360 in the chat? I haven't seen that guy in forever. That's cool.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I was like, wow, it's been a
He was
while.
always a little weird, but I was hoping he was doing good. All right, here you go. Yeah, that should work. Just leave it right there. There you go. So people can see what I'm talking about.
Sure.
Is there any way to just zoom in so that you can cut out all that useless stuff and just show the image of the woman and maybe Gene Kelly there?
I don't think I can zoom in.
No, you can't. Bummer.
Hold on.
Oh, why haven't I thumbs up? That's pretty gay. I got a thumbs up here.
That's about the best I can do as far as zooming. That's like 500%, and that's
Are you using OBS? Maybe just drag the useless part off and then expand the window.
it's fine. It's big enough.
Yeah, it's fine, I'm sure. I just have it on my phone, so it looks small. What's up? Oh, PG move. That's funny.
So anyway,
All right.
go ahead.
Let me explain what happens in this. This is just one little example, and unfortunately, the article I was reading, which is the same one Devin has pulled up.
Oh, real quick, I instantly notice there's an obelisk
Yep.
next to this woman,
So that's the thing. So here's the thing. So that
and she's got two cats, like
and this
on the
is
left and the
one-
right of her.
This is one tiny scene, and this article, which was actually 5 parts, only went through the singing in the rain part.
Uh-huh.
The part that tricked me off to the fact that there was some weird shit going on with this movie wasn't even mentioned in an article. I couldn't find an article about that. That's from a different scene completely. So in this one tiny little 20-second clip or whatever, this woman is in sexual ecstasy, and it's focused on her ass, clearly. Like, it's not her vagina, it's focused on her ass. And now, just so you understand, if you look closely, part of it's cut off. There are 2 obelisks on either
Oh,
side.
no, you can kind of see it. Yeah. Hold on.
There are 2 obelisks
Well,
on either
yeah.
side of her. The dome is not explicit, but the idea of the dome is there.
Really?
Yep. There's the circle around her, which is a circle of triangles. It's a
Yeah,
magical circle.
I see the
And
circle.
she's holding a wand. This is a
Yeah.
direct recreation of a pagan ritual they did in Egypt, where the Babylonian whore, the whore of the worlds, or whatever described in Revelations, the
Yeah.
priestess would go in and do a magical ritual with a wand or a ceremonial knife called an amath or something like that. And there's also 2 sphinxes by her.
Okay, that's what those are. Somebody also mentioned Bear for All Seasons. Does the sign say pharmacy? Yes, it does.
Well, it's so and
Up
there's
top it does, and then it says Mahout, whatever in the world that means.
Mahout is a brand of well, interestingly enough, Mahout is a brand of cigarette. The word Mahout is an Indian word for elephant rider. It means literally rider of the beast. And anybody who's familiar with Revelation knows that the whore of Babylon is pictured as riding the beast, Antichrist.
Okay.
That's how the whore of Babylon is pictured. So in this scene, Gene Kelly, you won't see the whole scene here. Well, now he got rid of it for some reason. You'll figure it out.
Yeah, I zoomed in the website. It shows a little bit better.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's much better. So Gene Kelly, okay, you can even see with this one. So Gene Kelly walks because he's walking down the road. He walks and sees the woman. He presents his hat to her. Now the hat, the way this article describes it, so the umbrella is a symbol for the anus because of its shape. and because it receives rain. Rain is in pagan. This is really gross, guys. I'm sorry. Rain in the pagan idea of worshiping the sun god, rain is seen as the semen of the sun god.
Real quick, Helios? Question mark.
Helios, oh, like Heliopolis.
Well, I'm just when you say sun god, I can't help but think of the heliocentric model.
Oh yeah. There's a lot. Yeah, I mean sure.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, the whole I'm not like super verse. Like I understand Greek mythology decently.
Yeah.
Norse mythology, sometimes I understand it, but it gets like mixed in my mind with Greek mythology. Kind of like if you learn a new foreign language and you already know one, if you forget a word in the new foreign language, you'll like insert the first foreign. So like I'll speak Spanish, and if I forget how to speak in Spanish, I'll just like speak in German by accident
I understand.
because I learned German first. Um, so I know Greek mythology. I got a decent understanding of Norse mythology. I don't know Egyptian mythology and Roman mythology. I haven't looked into. I just understand it as an extension of Greek mythology. Um, so I couldn't tell you. But the point is that Horus, I think, is associated with the sun, but I don't really get it.
Yeah.
I don't get it. I know Helios and Horus are two different things.
Yeah, that's true too. Yeah.
And Saturn and anyways, it's confusing to me. I don't really care. But the whole sun god thing is a big thing. Anyways, the point is that rain is a symbol in pagan mythology for semen.
Got it.
And there's several scenes where this guy is reacting to the rain as if it was semen and as if he was excited about it.
How so?
Well, he turned at one point. He turns his face upright and says he's happy again, and it's a close in shot of him with his eyes. It literally looks like a scene from a porn where they're getting a facial. That's how it looks.
Okay.
So that's what the article said.
Yeah. And by the way, if anybody's interested, this is the openscroll.blogspot.com.
The dude makes some connections that are not there.
You
Like
can
the
find
dude,
it by simply searching "Singing in the Rain" occult,
yeah,
OCCULT.
you'll find it right away. And I like the article. Just so you understand, the dude is like a little bit too into the thing. Like he's a little bit like,
Well,
when
it
I
is
see this Venus
suspicious.
hiding in plain sight type of
It
guy.
it is suspicious. What a glorious feeling.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
It's a
no,
little, it's a
I
little
agree
awkward.
with most of what he says, but it's like he hates Catholics. That's my
Yeah,
point.
I hear you.
So
It's all good.
so he's fucked up in one way or another. Um, my point is the guy who wrote the article, but he seems like he revealed some things to me I didn't see. Um, okay, so let me just describe the scene with the Mahout girl. So he sees the Mahout girl as he walks onto the scene from the right. He presents his hat to her.
Okay.
The reason why we got off onto that tangent is because the umbrella is traditionally a symbol of the anus because of its shape.
Yeah, you went there. Go ahead.
So the open umbrella is a symbol of the anus. The closed umbrella is a phallic symbol. It's a symbol of a
Like
penis.
the obelisk is well known to be the same.
Yeah.
Yep. Go
And
ahead.
so as he's going through this scene, the umbrella opens and closes. It's a symbol of a phallus, a symbol of an
Okay.
anus at different
Okay.
times. So
I'm looking for the smoking gun. That's why I keep on. I don't mean to be rude when I say okay, keep on going. I'm looking for
okay,
the
it's coming.
smoking gun.
It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming. Just relax. So
I'm intense, bro.
so earlier, the reason why I said all that is because earlier in the scene, the umbrella and the hat were. Now I'm a literature guy,
Yeah, I understand.
so the umbrella and the hat. So I understand symbolism, how it's used in literature. The umbrella and the hat are connected symbolically. So the umbrella and the hat symbolize the same thing, not because the hat is a symbol of the anus, but because the umbrella is. And earlier in the scene, as he was being rained on, he closed his umbrella and allowed the rain to flow on his hat, and it showed that the hat was a symbol of the same thing. So anyways, the point is, so he walks onto the scene, he presents his hat to this girl, like in a way you would present, politely to a woman, right? So it's clear from a literature standpoint that he has established this woman not only as existing, but as a woman and as a romantic object that he has respect for.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's symbolically clear. Then he walks onto the scene, and then he, as best I can remember, he does a little dance with the umbrella in front of him. In fact, you had it pictured where it's really, really obvious that the umbrella is his phallus. Like he's holding it in front of him like it's a penis. And then he holds it crosswise horizontally in front of him like he's having sex with it. So that takes place, but it just really makes it obvious that it's his phallus. And then later on, he's playing it like a guitar, and almost accidentally, while playing it, he inserts it over the woman where her ass is. Okay, so that's where, like, if you see a freeze frame, now this is like half a second of the whole scene. It could be accidental, but the nature of Hollywood is every single half second is
Every
really,
frame is designed. Yeah.
yeah, they don't do these things by accident. And so, and the fact, the real thing that made it obvious to me is the fact that there's so many clear symbols around this woman that she, like really obvious symbols that she's in a pagan ritual, with the obelisks and everything. Like they didn't just accidentally put those obelisks in there. It makes no sense. And they had to go out of their way to put it. If it was an accident, they wouldn't be there. The accident would have been to leave them out. And there's a freeze frame of him inserting his umbrella essentially into her ass. Basically what he does.
Well, I'm trying to
Yeah.
get there, but
It's the handle end. Now, if you go through those articles, Devin, you can find the pictures where he showed it. Right? I'm probably a couple seconds behind you, but what I'm seeing right now, you had a freeze frame of him showing it as his.
oh, there it is.
Do you see it? Okay. Well, he's a couple seconds. You're a couple
No, you'll
seconds.
see it, and it just wait a few seconds. You'll see it exactly.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
It's
So
as clear as a bell.
yeah, now it's a misdirection that he's using the other end, but that's what the article claimed, and over time I can see that that's really what's going on, especially when you freeze it. And the thing about these Hollywood movies is every single frame.
Now, what is this? What is this egg type thing in the air over here?
I mean,
I don't even
I'm
know
not.
what it is in real life, regardless of its symbolic meaning. I don't even know what it is.
Well, symbolically, or what it really is like it's a type of like Oriental light, I think,
Is it a light? Okay, gotcha.
like a lamp.
That's fine.
But I don't really know. It's like a decoration.
That sounds legit.
I actually
No,
don't
those
even
are
think,
definitely sphinxes. I didn't recognize that because I didn't see the actual high definition, but those are 100% sphinxes. Those are
yeah.
not triangles, by the way.
Below her.
Yeah, that's 100%. Those are rectangles, not triangles.
Oh, I apologize.
No,
Yeah.
it's fine. The dude might have claimed that, but
No, he didn't. He didn't. I didn't remember that. No, the triangle he claimed was made by her arm.
and then these brown. Let me see if I can
Do
zoom
you
in.
see the triangle she makes with her arm?
I don't think I can. Well, yeah, I can zoom in a little bit.
The other thing.
The triangle about her arm, yes, but then there's these weird. I think that those are scarabs in the brown.
The brown rectangles.
Those look.
Those are panels. Panels like windows.
No, look at the weird object inside of it.
I can't see it for the life of me. Let me see if I can.
I cannot zoom in anymore. I wish I could. Maybe I hold. Let me see if I can pull up the magnifying glass thing.
I think those are just
hold on.
windows.
Hold
well,
on.
I could tell you what he told me, which is this, that now, first of all, what you have to understand about this movie is it is referenced endlessly. Like this is considered like a classic, like
Crap.
the standard. This is a major movie. Hollywood loves this movie. So it's like really important, this movie. Did you zoom in?
Yeah, I did, and then I messed everything up with the magnifying
Oh,
app.
you really did. Oh wow. Yeah, this is pretty embarrassing for you.
Whatever. You should have seen how I started my stream. I can't. I'm like, sometimes I feel like a 90-year-old man when I'm doing this. I'm like, I don't know what this is all about. I don't know how
Yeah,
to do this.
I like it though. I feel like a 90-year-old man. I'm like, fuck these kids and their goddamn rock'em sock'em robots and their fucking videos.
It's like Rocket Stock and Robots are from 50 years ago. It's like these kids with their Rock'em Sock'em. It's like how old are you?
Damn
My grandfather though,
iPods.
dude. I tell you what, man. My grandfather, he is 8 months past his death date. Like they put him on hospice and all this stuff. They expected him to die within a couple of weeks back in like June of last year.
Really?
And
It's hot in here all of a sudden.
he's maxed out on his oxygen, but he's still kicking.
That's awesome. Yeah,
It's pretty
yeah.
fascinating. My grandpa's 90 years old. Yeah.
Someone said these damn kids and their pet rocks.
That's awesome. 27, dude. 27 is one of the highest numbers I've seen. I
27
might
what?
viewers. I might have been up to 32 before, but I think 27 might be among the highest.
Yeah,
So
that's a little too much for me, man. I'm not gonna pay attention anymore. Yeah, so anyways, no, the panels he described as see if you can pull up, by the way, while I'm talking, see if you can pull up Monas Hieroglyphica. But real quick, before you get rid of that window, everyone
fine.
everyone pay attention to a really subtle thing in that scene where there's a cloth. There's like a translucent cloth draped over the obelisk on the left.
I
If you
didn't.
notice,
I moved it from the from the.
yeah, I figured you might have been smart enough to pull it back up or something.
Oh wow, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I
There's
guess
a
I'll
there's something. What?
So there's a translucent white cloth draped over the obelisk there on the left.
Okay,
Apparently on the right.
like over here.
You should no on the left. On stage left, not audience left.
Oh, left. His left. Okay.
No, your left, not his left. His left would be the other left.
His left is stage left.
Oh, really? Audience left.
Okay, so audience
Our
left
left
is over here.
Yeah, there you go. On the left of the screen there.
Okay.
Yeah, there's like a translucent.
I zoomed in on it. Go ahead.
That's the only other thing I might have mentioned, that it's important to be able to see it in front of you. What that guy said is that that's basically an anus, or that's not an anus. That's the butt cheeks. That's the buttocks. So
Okay, yeah.
it's a little gross. Anyways,
I've got the Monas Hieroglyphica pulled up. What do you want about it?
So as far as symbolism in that scene, that was the only thing I don't think you'd be able to understand without it being in front of you. The panels on the window, I think, or the little panels that look like the little brown squares.
Yeah.
I think those are panels. And what he said that was a symbol of was, it was really weird because he started going into this other description of how you create mental slaves through through pedophilia, and you break someone's mind and then create alter egos, and the panels of a window are a symbol of that.
Well, dude, if you want to read more about that, you need the do you have sorry, I'm not finishing a sentence. Fritz Springmeier.
Yeah, he quotes that.
Okay,
repeatedly.
yeah, that's the dude. He's the one that wrote Illuminati formula to create an undetectable mind control slave. I've got that link. If you want any of those resources, Fritz Springmeier wrote like 300 and 400 page books on the topics, and they're quality and just overflowing with gravy. But yeah, this is the Monas
that's the first
Hieroglyphica.
I've ever heard of that topic, but it obviously makes a lot of sense.
What's with this Monas Hieroglyphica thing?
Oh, it's another symbol. he actually, it probably might have been better just to stay on that article because he shows it. But it's another thing. I forget
Well,
why.
the article that I pulled up might not be the same thing that you had researched. So
It's one. There's like 5 blogs he did in a row on it. If you go to like, there's like a 5-parter. Who knows if it'll show up. Well, anyways, the panels, and then later on he shows like a series of disembodied heads, mannequins for hats, that also are a symbol of disconnected personalities created by essentially ritual sexual abuse. There it is. There's Monas hieroglyphica.
where?
Well, I'm behind if I watch your
Oh
screen.
yeah. I'll go back
See
to
it?
it. It's there. Hey man,
So,
you have free reign of my stream for the next 3 minutes.
oh really? Oh
Yeah.
god, that's all.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
crazy.
gonna even show your face. Well, should I show your face?
You do whatever you want, bud.
You have part of the screen available to you. There you
So
go.
this
I'll
guy,
be right back.
this guy. Hey, what's up, everybody? This guy John D was apparently a magician. Would you make a pillow fort, Devin? Are you streaming from a pillow fort? That's adorable. You guys probably can't see that. It looks like he has a pillow fort. So this guy, is it the other part of my screen? Where's my face at? No, it is here. No, it's the other part. It's all the way over here. That's weird. It like reverses. All right, so this guy, John D, was like a magician, like the head magician of England. Uh, he was a consultant for Queen Elizabeth back in like the 1500s, and apparently Queen Elizabeth was probably a tranny. And John D wrote this thing called Monos Hieroglyphica, and he said it would like revolutionize astronomy and all this, and he described what it symbolized. It symbolized the sun, the moon, the elements, and fire. But if you look at it, it's just a combination of the symbols for Horus, Hermes, and then a butt at the bottom that they're sodomizing. That's basically all it is. But it's interesting because that same symbol appears like throughout, or elements of that symbol appears throughout like modern things like EPA, NASA kind of has it. But the whole thing about astronomy, because he talked about how the sun rotates around the Earth back in the 1500s. He was talking about that. And he said it would revolutionize astronomy. And so it's just an interesting thing. And then, as a one off, this guy who wrote the article mentioned that Satan's name, apparently, before God changed it to Satan, which means adversary, it's not his actual name, it's a title. Much like Lord is not God's name, but Yahweh is. Yahweh is God's personal name, the one we can't abuse. So is Jesus is also a personal name, although it is also a title. But Christ is a title; it's not his name. Satan means adversary, but his actual name, apparently, before God changed it, was Hellel, which is, I think, hell, and El, which means God, or authority, like little God. So it would be like the God of Hell. And then me and my wife were watching this movie called Robots, which was an interesting kids movie, which was on my mind for a while. And then she randomly pauses it on the credits, and I see the name Hillel Metzer, and so I looked this guy up, and because it's the name of Satan. Turns out it's a really popular Jewish name, shouldn't surprise anybody. And they love to name their kids after Satan himself and their god that they worship. And this guy did this movie. It's the big thing. It's called Future 38. And so I just found that out about 10 minutes ago, and I'm wanting to watch that movie now to research the enemy. So, are you streaming from a pillow fort, Devin? The people want to know.
A pillow fort. What does that even mean?
Fort of pillows.
Um, so I've explained before. I'm in an attic. There is ugly rafters,
Oh, really?
but behind me. So I put up a photo.
Shylock Holmes is on the case. That's funny.
I put up a photo blanket behind me that I permanently borrowed from my wife that she's so graciously donated to me.
Why don't you
Uh,
just let the rafters show? That's how men
I
like.
used
That's
to,
like a masculine setting.
but I had the assumption that it would make it look a little better. It just seems so trashy
Oh,
to,
really?
to show the empty rafters, but
I kind of like trashy, but that's fine. I get it. You don't want to look like a crazy guy with a beard in an attic. I understand.
so I'm growing this out
Not everybody can make up for it all with charisma like me.
until the beginning of September. That's my plan.
Oh,
Um,
really?
so by that time, it should be a couple of inches above my belly button. Seriously, it'll be below the rib cage after that long, just based on my rate of growth. Um,
What?
what?
Are you doing that thing like Patch Adams?
I'm
Oh,
just
you're talking about.
I'm trying growing my beard for 1 year
Now
solid.
I get it. Now I
One
get it.
one solid year.
It's about your beard. I understand. You ever seen Patch Adams?
Yeah, I saw it. What? I
You
don't
know
know.
that scene? You know that scene where he thinks the psychiatrist is not listening to him, so he's like, "Yeah, if I could use my penis for a
Oh,
bonus, then I could probably make it to the moon, or at least Mars." Yeah,
and the doctor was definitely not listening.
I thought that's what you were doing to me. I was like, "What the hell are you talking about your rib cage?"
Yeah, no.
I was so confused.
So I don't know if you heard. Did you listen at all to the beginning? I mean, that sounded weird.
No,
Did,
I didn't. Me and my
did,
wife are watching robots.
okay, cool. So at the beginning of my stream, I actually talked about cussing, curse words and stuff, and I talked about my brain, and I wanted to, because
Really?
I wouldn't expect you to like go
Me and
back and
Devin had a big fight about cussing back
this is
in the day.
true.
It was
This is true.
legendary. It was
So I wouldn't expect you, and I mean this
glorious.
sincerely. I would not expect you to like go back and watch my stream because anyway, we live lives. So I wanted to tell you, and it's a little bit of reiteration. There's a way more people here than there was when I was talking about it. I only had like 8 people when I was talking about it at the beginning of the stream. But
Sure.
anyway, um, the way that my brain works is when a word is said, I see a picture. And I was talking to my wife
Right.
about this the other day, and
Well, me and you talked about that.
did I tell you about that?
Yeah, we talked
That
about
was
that
probably on the
privately on
phone.
the
Yeah,
phone
on the
in
phone.
the
Yeah,
midst of our fighting, and
exactly,
it
exactly.
was
So,
great. It was a great conversation.
so that causes complications for me because my heart is gracious and I want to be loving and not take certain things more seriously than they ought to be taken, so on and so on. But my mind is like taking a journey through a place I don't want to go. So that is for all intents and purposes, that is what is the word for it? That is a threat to me. If you it's like when somebody does something against your consent, how much of a threat that is to you when somebody violates you against your consent.
Right.
That's not your fault that I have that problem, and that's why my heart is gracious, but my mind is not gracious, and my mind is violated in a rapey kind of way, and
Yeah. Well,
that
that's
makes it
all
very
man.
difficult for me to interact with different people, and I've made some people angry. I've made Ian Bearpig angry. I permanently being what's his name? Big B Lupo permanently um unsubscribed from my channel as a result of me deleting one of his comments that was calling another person uh a feline. And
Oh, a bitch.
n- no, the no, the
Oh,
more
a pussy.
yeah, the more commonly used word. Um I first
I
of
guess
all,
bitch would be canine.
yeah, for some reason though, I don't get any imagery with that word, so that one never affects me. I don't say it for other reasons,
Oh,
but
but you see an actual like woman's sex organ.
yes, exactly, exactly. So that is why, based on context. Now, if you say bitch, I think of a dog. I literally think of a female dog, and I'm like, oh, a pregnant dog, big whoop. So it doesn't affect me emotionally.
I used to think of like a prison bitch, but then now I just think of
Yeah, I don't think about that at all.
like a weak dude.
Yeah,
But it's
no,
not
don't
visual.
get me wrong. I know what the colloquial meaning of all of these words are. It's not like I'm a moron and I just don't know what these words mean. I know what they mean. It's just what the context of these words and their crass and vulgar attributions unfortunately float through my mind because that's how my mind works with all language.
Yeah,
So
that's what I told you when we spoke on the phone back in the day. Was the cuss someone asked by the way, oh Ben asked, was the cuss fight pre Chuck? No, I'm pretty sure Chuck was in the middle of that trying not to be
absolutely.
involved and
No,
failing.
he wasn't involved at all, but
He was trying not to be involved, but he was involved.
okay, well,
In my opinion.
I got you.
He
I
was
understand.
like he was like, I don't want to be involved in this. That's why I'm only appearing on your stream without Nate.
I got you. Well,
But he
we
didn't get
love each other,
involved.
and we're in Christ as brothers, and we know that. And this is, for all intents and purposes, and in the scope of all things, this is a very non-issue.
Yeah, we can get over it.
On the
It's
other
like
hand, I wanted to share how my brain
it's like
operates.
it's like a Viking, you know, stronghold where you like walk in and people are just fighting and then they drink later. We watched this great movie with Vince Vaughn called The Swingers. Uh, you ever
Awkward.
seen that? You
No,
ever
I'm
seen
just
that
playing.
movie?
No, I don't know anything about that movie.
It's it's an excellent like man's movie. Like I was jiving with it. My wife wasn't at all, but she wanted to watch Vince Vaughn, so it's her own fault. Uh, but he like only does like man roles.
See, I think
Uh,
that like I would put Seraphim Falls as an excellent man's movie.
what's
Uh,
Seraphim? I never heard that.
Seraphim Falls. It's got what's his Pierce Brosnan plays a Jeremiah Johnson kind of role. He grows a beard. It's I was incredibly impressed at this fancy pants soy boy Pierce Brosnan. He plays a very good mountain man. He really does. Seraphim Falls
Well,
is a
he's my traditional James Bond, so I always
Pierce
think of him.
Brosnan. Yeah. So
Yeah,
he
I
did
always
a
think
really
of him.
good job in that movie. Now Jeremiah Johnson obviously is a great classic man's movie. And then if you want more action, I would say Four Brothers wasn't bad. Now it's been a long time since I've seen it.
I think I've seen. Was that is that about like the Chinese?
No, Four Brothers was an American movie, and it was like these it was a crime, one of those crime action movies,
Oh,
and it
okay.
was about these four brothers that were looking out for each other, and they committed a bunch. I
There's
don't
this
remember
one.
all of the plot about it, but been some decent movies that were non-subversive. Jeremiah Johnson, I would endorse.
Can I read this in the chat?
Look at All You Bears. Funny
Oh,
thing is, I
jo-
probably
Josie Wales is I like better than Jeremiah Johnson. The outlaw Josie
I'm gonna
Wales.
have to. I don't remember that one.
It's like an epic Clint Eastwood. It's like the
So
epic.
what you were going to talk about Biblical Joseph's comment?
No, biblical Joseph, but my wife's reply was great.
It was a dude movie.
No, we're trying really hard to be a cult, but we can't seem to meet the qualifications. She's talking about bears.
Oh my gosh. That is epic. It was a dude movie. Lovely to see. But he had said, "Look at All You Bears." Funny thing is, I probably was the only one raised as a bear.
Who raised a bear. I think he
Oh,
must have
who
like
raised a
actually found
bear?
a little bear in the wild or something.
That would be really cool if you actually raised like the mammal, the bear. It was with Mark Wahlberg, Bear for All Seasons. Okay. Um,
So let me
take
tell you about the movie I was originally talking
Yeah,
about.
let's wrap it up on like we're doing a hard stop in 7 minutes, just so you know.
So I brought up Swingers, and now I can't remember why. What were we?
7 minutes, just so you know.
What were we talking about with Swingers?
Something about a man's movie, and that's about all I remember.
Gosh dang it! Maybe the chat can help me. We were talking about something right before that. I'm sure it had to do.
Well, I was talking about cuss words and how they affect my brain and emotionally affect me at sometimes, and some words don't. because they don't have that same context.
Right.
But that's all I really remember.
And then we got into something else, and then I was talking. Oh yeah. So we were talking about how like men fight and make up.
Oh yeah.
Like you fight somebody and your best friend. Anyways, there's
That
this scene.
happens. That's
Yeah, that's like how you make friends as a man. You throw rocks at each other in the woods, and then you're buddies.
yes.
And
It's hilarious, but it's
and the
very
problem
true.
is old married men with children sometimes forget how to act around men, and they think that they're so used to women and children that they treat men like women or children, and they do it. And Christians are the worst because they treat men like children.
That's
It's not
funny.
good. And
That's
then
funny.
like the more the man's like, no, I'll fucking fight you right now. The more it's like, oh, he's a little kid. And then you take the first hit to the jaw and it wakes you the fuck up. So
Yeah.
that's how sometimes Bear was. He's like, yeah, I see you guys as my kids. Well, fuck you then, buddy. I see you as a fucking peer. You're not my fucking kid. I got a dad. I got
Yeah,
a good father.
that is a problem. When
I
somebody
already
your
got
same age sees you as their kid.
Well, even if you're 20 years older than me, we're both men in the world, working jobs, providing for people. It's
Yeah.
like I've been on my own since I was 15. I provided for my own mom in my household. I provide for other people. I brought them into my household when they needed help. I brought my brother to my household. Now I'm married. I provide for my wife. I'm a provider. I'm a bona fide, qualified man.
Of course you
I
are.
don't
Let me
treat me
get
like
rid of this stupid image.
I don't care if I cuss and drink. You don't get to treat me like a child because of that. If you do, like I said, the first hit to the jaw wakes you the fuck up. It's not a little kid hitting you.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with all these people. And the ones who were not bitches became friends, like Devin, who's not a bitch.
I'm Devin.
I've always said
For the 26 of you and anybody
I've
else that watches this, that's
always
who I am.
I've always said you're not a well, I might have called you a bitch, but I didn't mean it. I've always said you're not a bitch. Like you actually do fight, which is great. Sometimes Bear doesn't. He just kind of whines. Um, no, but there's this great scene from the movie Swingers where that movie is so great. Like it's like a
I'm not
much
familiar. It's obviously got an awkward title, but
it's a much
who's the
better. It
lead?
doesn't mean
Who's the lead
it's an old
actor?
movie. Vince Vaughn and John Favreau. It's just about a bunch of dudes in Hollywood trying to pick up chicks
Okay, gotcha.
and at like bars and stuff. It's hilarious. And Vince Vaughn's character is like the actual alpha from like the 90s where you had to be a man and not like this like software developer little effeminate dude. And he's just a great character. But anyways, there's a scene in this movie where this other guy who's the Bravo, they're like accosted by these hoodlums as they're walking outside of a club. And the Bravo guy, who, because he does what Bravos always do, he takes it too far. These guys are like, "You're the bitch." He's like, "No, you're the fucking bitch." And so they just start yelling back at each other. He's like, "You want to see who's the bitch?" And he takes his gun out and just points it at her. He's like, "You fucking bitches." And then they're like, "Whoa, what's up?" And then they run off. And then his buddies are pissed at him, including Vince Vaughn. And Vince Vaughn gets his face like, "What the fuck you doing? I don't want to see you do this shit." And then later on, just randomly, they're all playing Xbox, and like the character walks in. He hasn't talked to him for a couple of days. He walks in, and all the hoodlums are playing Xbox with him, and they're like, "What the hell?" And the guy's like, "Oh, dude," the guy with the gun from the first scene. He's like, "Oh, dude, don't worry about it. We're cool now."
Dude,
It's such a great movie for like
I
understanding. Man.
all that stuff resonates with me because when I was in middle school, I encountered there was a huge bully situation. There was a whole group of people that were both artificial bullies, and by artificial bullies I mean they were just wannabes. And then there was actual gang member weirdos that had so the weird thing is the ones that were actually involved in gangs never operated as bullies in the school that I went to.
Oh yeah, because they got too much to lose. Why would
But
they do
their
it?
flunkies, the people that followed the people that
Yeah,
were in actual gangs, were the most ruthless, ridiculous, bully type people.
yeah.
And
It's how it always
I
goes.
got in several I was never hated or ostracized or anything by the the actual gang member people. In fact, they respected me. But the ankle biting bully types always wanted to fight me and were the most vicious towards me.
Yeah.
Specifically in middle school, it was a
Well,
non-issue. In high school, because I went to a high school of 3,600 people.
well,
So
those dudes aren't like because
all
I
I'm
really.
all I'm saying is once I fought them,
Sorry.
it was over. I got they would throw the first punch, they'd
Yeah.
do the push, and I would be like, this isn't happening. I will not be dominated by you. I just had
Yeah.
the principle of I may not be stronger than you. I may not be faster than you. I'm but I will be, and my principle was you may be the snake, but I will always be the mongoose. And that was my principle as somebody that was usually larger people. I was just a smaller kid. Like
Right.
I was a small,
You just take
pasty,
a punch, right?
white-skinned little kid,
Yeah.
and I had these people that were much larger than me. I was like, you may be a cobra, but I will be the mongoose, and I will not be dominated by you, and you will regret coming after me. And every time after any altercation, I first of all wound up never getting a fist to the face, which is interesting. The only fists I ever got to the face were in sparring matches amongst Christian brothers, just for exercise.
Right.
But in conflict, I never got a fist to the face because I was the mongoose, and I had a mindset of you're going to come after me, I will dominate you with speed and agility. But anyway, the point of the matter is, when it was all said and done after the scrapple, I was like, I'm not going to be your friend, but it appears that you don't want to come after me anymore. So uh, I'm like Switzerland to you. That's fine. And
Yeah, we're
we
cool.
weren't ever like, oh, we're going to hang out. We're buddies. But it was definitely always a unspoken, like, all right, that's in the past. And it was interesting. Every time I got in a fight, I was like, my life gets better after each one of these fights.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I never sought out fights, mind you. But
Yeah. Me
every
neither.
time they happened, I was like, well,
I never.
that's a blessing
I
because
never. I never sought out fights, and I think God really has been working on my heart to get me to want to fight more and want to seek out fights because it's really disappointing as a Christian to not seek out more fights.
yeah.
So I'm praying about that, and I would ask you all to pray to put that into
Well,
my heart.
I wasn't a Christian until the end of eighth grade.
It's
Um,
true though. I
so
literally think that's true. Yeah, what's
anyway, I
interesting?
need to wrap it up, man. I'm a little over time from what I told my wife, so I need to go ahead and wrap it up. Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I was just gonna say it's interesting that I have found that the guys who respond like you're describing, who you got into fights with, those guys tend to be bravos, and the reason why
Yeah,
bravos do that is because they don't understand people outside of their hierarchy, and so sometimes a lot of times the alphas will because the alphas are used to dealing with other alphas and everything, but their bravos will try to uh, enforce the hierarchy on somebody who's not in the hierarchy, and it's really a bad conflict, and it's not good because sometimes the person outside the hierarchy can then decide to take down the alpha. If he's immature, there's all kinds of things that can happen, but it's because bravos think everyone's in their hierarchy, and they're constantly just like knocking. It's like how in animals, like sometimes you'll have a mother animal like feeding her litter, and then like you'll take, like, let's say you have like a litter of like dogs, and then you'll take like a wild wolf cub and put it in there, and the wild wolf cub will like not want to suck at the teat, but the mom dog will like push the. It's kind of like that's how bravos act, where they just try to put everyone into their family and enforce the hierarchy on them. And so that's why I've always gotten into conflict with them, because I don't fit into the hierarchy. I usually like make myself fit because I've been through enough shit, but like eventually they sniff you out,
as
and
far
then
as I understand it, I'm a Delta first. In other personality, and I think I'm going to do some more streams on personality types and the concepts thereof because
well, it's not
um,
a personality, it's a role.
yeah, I'm a driver. I'm an amiable driver.
Oh
Um,
really?
as far as personality types go,
Oh,
the
that
Meyer.
one's bullshit. That one's not supposed to exist.
What's that?
The amiable driver, that one,
It's a conflicting personality type, and that's why.
it's artificial. One of those is learned. The other one is inherent. One of them is a learned artificial, and the other one is naturally you. Like I was an amiable driver because I was a driver and my older brothers were drivers, and so I had to make peace with them. So I was like, I'll win if
So that
everyone wins.
if I had to be, so yeah, I get what you're saying, and I can relate with that because I would say that my amiable traits are the nature of me trying to resolve conflict between my parents that were constantly at war with each other.
Right.
So yes, I absolutely learned the skills and components of conflict resolution because I was always trying to resolve their
Are you
conflict.
are you familiar with the words I like are phlegmatic, melancholic?
Yeah, I'm familiar with those. So in
You're
those,
phlegmatic, like through and through. That's who you are naturally. Because a phlegmatic, one of the
what are the other two? Sanguine and what's the other?
sanguine, melancholic are opposed. Phlegmatic is opposed with choleric. Choleric would be driver.
Choleric.
Yeah, choleric would be driver. I'm a choleric. Cholerics get into more conflicts. But a phlegmatic, one of their traits is they get very stubborn like once in a while, where they won't let go of like one thing.
Yeah, that
And
sounds about right, maybe.
and yeah, like they avoid almost all conflict, but like there will be one thing where you get them on that and they just
Fighting
like
Bear.
they
Fighting
hold
Bear
on
said
harder.
Gospel Bear is a peacemaker, not a keeper, like unlike sometimes Bear. All right. Hey man, I love you and I
It's
don't
been
mean to
great. Yeah, we can
cut you
cut it
off,
short
man.
though. You gotta get to your wife.
Yeah, man. Guys, there's 26 of you. I'm a little disappointed with the lemon situation. I'm kidding, guys. No, I'm really thankful that
Lemon
26 of you
support.
chose to hang out for nearly an hour. That's pretty cool. Thank you for that. I have posted my schedule on my D Live page at this point, and I'm trying to.
Yeah, yeet.
Thank you, Fundamental Bear. I'm sticking to the best I can with the schedule that I shared on my D Live. So on Friday nights, Lord willing, I plan on having as
Yeah, yeet.
many bears as I can add along in these conversations. Obviously, Nate is a fun one to have along. um,
Oh yeah,
but
he's way different.
in a lot of ways, because him and I are we're similar in a lot of ways, but we're also very contrasting in other
Well, we're
ways.
both
So
we're both Christians,
yeah,
but we're
of
similar
course.
in that way. But it's
Yeah.
funny because I think we had more trouble before Devin just accepted that when I came on, it was going to be whatever I decided to talk about. It wasn't going to have anything to do with what he was talking about.
No, you kept it. Well,
I have no idea what the topic was, Devin. I had something I wanted to talk about, and mission
it
accomplished.
was relatively fitting. I started the stream off primarily with definitions of words and crass, curse, slang,
Well, that was
vulgar
God's doing, but
language.
part of me thinks that's something you've convinced yourself in order to keep peace.
What that vulgarity would be related to the sodomy symbology thing.
I have no idea.
It was
No,
it was
I think
relatively
what I
connected.
had to say was completely. I know for a fact because I wasn't watching your stream at
I
all.
know, I know, I
And
know.
then I told my wife I want to talk about this, and she's like, "I really don't want to talk about this, Nate." And I said, "Well, fine. I'll go talk to Devin about it."
No, it's cool, man. All right, so
And it was a great time.
you guys know what it is, and you see my schedule. Check out Nathaniel Slattery Bear. I'm not
On
saying
his
his
record,
actual name to protect his personal identity. It's
yeah.
Nathaniel Slattery Bear. Okay, not anything else.
Don't
Okay,
say my real name.
I would never expose anybody's personal information or dox anybody. We do this to. My name is Devin Jump. Just for reference sake. Uh, Gospel Bear is my screen name on D Live, YouTube, Twitch, and Discord. But I also regularly share my actual name, like paypal.me/DevinJump is my PayPal. But
Yeah,
anyway,
that's how I
check
found
out
it.
check out Nate's
Taurus Necros.
his website, his publishing company he started, and his YouTube and his well, you're gonna do D Live eventually, maybe, Nate.
I've been on there once. We did a
Check
watch
out
party.
Restreamio, bro. It's easy as
Yeah,
pie. It's
my
easy
wife
as
was trying.
pie.
This is the problem with all the electronic gayness is you do one thing and then they're like, oh, but you gotta do this other thing. Like I remember one time people were getting on my ass.
Nah, just stick to the two. I do Twitch
Oh,
because I already had a Twitch account, but my Twitch gets no activity whatsoever. I'm just doing it superfluously.
yeah, super fluid.
All right, man. Good night. Love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Everyone, all 30 of you. That's a
Strength.
high number. I think that's one of the highest I've ever seen. And all
You
of
have
you.
more strength than heart, then love them with all your heart or with all your strength. The heart's easy if you don't have much of it. That's fine. Focus on the strength. Talking to you men out there that are numb.
There you go. Good idea.
Yeah,
All four of them are important. So,
especially strength. Go ahead though.
no, it's all good. I see that even intoxicating masculinity doxed himself, so that was beautiful. Um,
Oh, the old dwarfish king there.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining. It's funny how people seem to join later in the evening than towards the beginning of the evening, but um, guys, thank you. Check out the future streams. Subscribe and follow other people. If you want to subscribe here, that's beautiful. If I end up getting 20 subscribers, I will absolutely perform the rap. If I get 20 subscribers, I will absolutely be performing the rap that Sing Along Bear has been waiting for over, well, not over a year, but almost an entire year.
About 8, 9 months. I remember.
Dude, Sing Along Bear, you guys know and love Sing Along Bear. She donated her last pennies to support my rap. If I get 20 subscribers, I will be performing the rap that I've been writing for almost a year.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
And
So,
everyone's excited about it except me.
hey, you're gonna rap with me. So
What is this? What is this? Subscribe on YouTube?
on D Live, on D Live,
Am I
subscribe.
subscribed to you on D Live?
No, it's the 200 and something lemons. I think it costs 290 lemons or
What are
two.
you on? What are you on D Live?
Gospel Bear. I'm Gospel Bear on everything.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
here we go. There you are. I'll subscribe
All right,
for my
man.
wife.
Do you have lemons?
There you are. I think I have like half a lemon.
Well, it takes like 209. Well,
Oh, to
that's
subscribe. I thought you meant the free one.
yeah.
I don't know
So
about
somebody could
subscribing.
sponsor Nate, and that would be yet
So
an
I have. So it says I need 298,
yeah
and
two
I
298.
have a little less than 4. I have 3.96, which I know is getting everyone like
Gam-
Freemason.
Gematria nonsense.
Yeah.
Um,
I think the 33.
look,
I think the 33. One last thing to go. I don't know what the hell this is. This is disgusting. I think the 33. No one can hear me. The 33. This is so.
that's the
All quiet.
do you I know you can't hear it, but you can rewind in the stream.
I can hear you making noises with your mouth.
Your wife just subscribed you to my channel, okay?
Oh, did she?
And it's when somebody subscribes to my D Live, the Trollolol song plays. So when you don't know about the
Okay, of course not.
d-
I was about to say
Nate,
something significantly
hold on.
more heterosexual.
Nate,
I think
look up the Trollolol guy. TROLLOLOLL.
No.
No, I'm dead serious.
I'm
Look,
trying to talk about sodomy.
he's a cool Russian guy that does this cool song in the 1970s. He's silly. It's the Russian Rickroll. But I'm
Okay.
dead serious. He's a cool guy. He really was a cool guy. But
I'm really getting
it's
stubborn
the
about
Trollolol song, and it plays every time somebody subscribes. And every time somebody subscribes, I can't help but sing along and act it out because I just think it's cool. But
it. Can you hear it?
yeah, I can hear it in my headphones. Yeah,
Oh.
yeah.
So listen. So I think I figured out what 33 means in Freemasonry.
All right, this is your concluding remark, and I have to end the stream.
I think 33 is similar to 69. I think it's a symbol of two men having sex.
How does 3-3 relate to that?
Well, one's got a prong facing forward, and the back of the three looks
Okay,
like
gotcha.
a butt.
Okay, so it's anal stuff. That's
It's like
disgusting.
69. Yeah,
That's disgusting.
I know, but this is Freemasonry.
I
The
don't
G
disagree
stand-
with you. I hear what you're saying, and I think that you're probably right. I mean,
Everyone's
Freemasons.
been wondering about that, and I figured it out because they put it in the center instead of G sometimes. And G, they tell you, stands for God. And
Yeah,
then when you get further up, they tell you it stands for Gnosis, which means
Gadriel,
knowledge. And
and
then
then
once you get far enough up, what it actually stands for, apparently, is generative principle, which is when you sodomize somebody and steal their life force to live longer.
but then it actually means Gadriel, which is just a false god. But yeah, all right,
No, I think it talks about sodomy. It's actually probably pedophilia.
maybe so. Guys, we talked about a lot of gravy tonight.
I hardly ever talk about this stuff.
I'm going to repeat to love the Lord your God with all of your heart, mind, soul, and strength. Because this gravy that we talked about involves a lot of sodomy. And hashtag say no to sodomy
Yeah,
is
because it's
my
really,
punchline.
really gay. And as
It
we
is.
all know, gays are inherently inferior to straights. Fact.
Biologically and otherwise.
In every way. They're inherently inferior. And the big thing, people are like, oh, they're better at art and fashion. Really? Is
I'm
the
way
best
over time,
art
bro.
ever done
I'm
in
way over time.
All right, I'll see you later.
All right. So Nate may or may not do an after party, but you guys know what to do. Love the
Oh,
Lord your
me?
God.
I might.
All right.
Yeah.
See you guys later, everybody. And
Everyone
Nate.
subscribe to my YouTube channel or something.
Subscribe to Nate and others.
I'll be in the
All the
D-Line
bears.
chat. What I'll do is I'll